uns, habe ich fertig, Flasche leer.
Oh.
Welcome back, everybody, and welcome, Peter. Nice to see you. Now we need to talk in English. I need to. My
hair is nice.
My
everything is nice. Okay, yeah. Anti-wrinkle cream. Yes,
wait
everything is nice.
So now I'm ready.
Nice to see you again.
Yeah, thank you. 1 week, Peter is like,
Yes, it's like a baby without milk.
Okay. It's fine. It's fine. Yeah, it's fine.
What's new in Maltese ongoings?
Oh, we had a nice air show on the weekend.
Oh, I saw your pictures.
I mean, it's always this two sides in me. I think it's useless and it's even dangerous to show it, but on the other side, it's really what they can do with a jet or when they fly with the planes and all this perfection. It amazes me. So it's really nice to see. If
it's entertaining for people, it's never useless.
Yeah, and it was the whole beach was full of people. Yeah, so
the only thing I really dislike about that is that much CO2 output.
Of course,
because they
what they burn in one show, you could heat your house a whole year, most probably. Yeah.
Or the horniest thing I saw this week on YouTube is in Russia. They're making I think I told it in the past, a tank triathlon. And I saw a clip again, they're driving with real big Russian and Chinese and mostly Eastern tanks, fancy camo on, and they're driving through water holes and they're sliding through mud, nice. like rally cars, they're sliding, nice. And then they stop and boom, shot at the target with their big. Wow, that's nice. And if they shifting gear, there comes out a dark black at the exhaust. Wow, wonderful. That's nice. That's nice.
This is with all motorsports, what they burn uselessly on gasoline and whatever is like, and what they do for the. But it's entertaining. That's why nobody says something. Even Malta will get now a racetrack.
Wow.
We don't get this. Is since years they promise a racetrack, and we have soon elections coming. So now, of course, every topic which was not realized, we promise. Now it's top list. Now you get your racetrack. Get the votes.
Because you say all these motorsports is horrible for the climate change and so on, and CO2 and so on.
Greta doesn't like
it. If one of these great cult members is sending a WhatsApp, it's also bad for the climate.
That's true. Yes, that's true.
And all their iPhones.
They should all give away their phones and their computers.
Yes, and their television and their everything.
No car, and she gets private plane and stuff like
live
this.
In a cave or live on a tree, and then you can tell me
do something
what
about
I should
climate change. Exactly.
Don't do. Yeah,
fully agree.
As long as you're involved in all this high-tech stuff and your mommy is driving you with a big SUV to the demonstration, just shut up.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, great. I mean, since when? And they invite her everywhere. She didn't study anything. She has no idea of anything. No. She only can read a paper. When they ask a question which is not on this paper, she is like, can you please ask the other ones?
And you know what? No, in Vienna, there also in Berlin and in all around the world were demonstrations last Saturday, I think. I don't know, from Fridays for Future, from this climate Nazis. And in Vienna, there were 10,000 demonstrators. Nobody said something about Corona, how dangerous this is. And what I really disliked is teachers from Vienna schools with little children with in Volksschule, from 7 years and so on. They went on Friday on Saturday as a school event to the demonstration. And I say one thing, it doesn't matter if it's a right-wing demonstration, if it's a left-wing demonstration, if it is an anti-vaccine demonstration or a vaccine or what else. No child should be at any street demonstration because it's dangerous. You have your child with you and some crazy guy does something and the police spraying pepper spray or something. So how can you put a child to a demonstration? And you know, I compare it with the Middle Ages when they had a children's crusade. They sent innocent children on foot into the Holy Land. Nobody come back. Of course, they sold them for slaves, for sex slaves and something. And that's like it is today.
Like the World Health Organization did in Africa?
In Congo.
In Congo?
Yeah. Oh, I love to read this one. They had, what was it, an Ebola Institute?
Or something,
Yes, and the WHO, and yes, and
I mean, we have to say they are really, really pristine people. They are really, this is top of the class.
Yeah.
Very intelligent, very smart people, very, very ethical people. They would never do something wrong because they're World Health Organization and they get a lot of money from Bill Gates. So of course,
they are really nice people. The only thing they say to the cleaning maids and to the female cooks and so, okay, you can get the job here if you suck my WHO.
There is the couch, lay down, and then we talk about your CV.
Good job. Some years ago was a very similar thing with Oxfam, this society, this NGO, which is about poor people in the world. And so, and they had the same stuff going on in Haiti. They helped in Haiti because of, this earthquake, and I don't know what it was. And the same thing, they had an office and something, and they sexually assaulted and oppressed and blackmailed.
No.
They're lovely colored black human brothers and sisters.
For that, I always would have a quick solution. Show me what you got.
A 357. Oh no!
No, simply cut all this useless piece of meat off, and
Do you have a knife of the week?
No, not really. Only a throwing knife today again.
I prepared one.
Okay, then I show you mine first. It's the Orsetter. It's from Russia.
Yeah,
it's a really nice one, and I'll even let it replicate. But they
very
nice. It's thin. It's not very heavy, but this is simply for this Russian style, for this Fedin style.
Putin style.
Just awesome. It's a nice blade. Orsetter. They don't make it anymore in this way, so that's why I replicated it already, but not properly. We will do it again until it's better.
You're like a Chinese engineer replicating Russian
My
stuff.
boss! Saxony.
I have here a knife.
1 second.
And it's...
Oh, gallery fell. 1 second.
What's wrong?
Yeah, I threw a knife in there and everything got shaken up here. I made everything.
You need a nice roommate.
It's fine. My decoration fell. So.
Again,
show me.
Here I have a very typical Austrian knife. It's originally it was made by a guy. His name was Urban, like urban. And they are around, I think, since the 1960s or earlier. And they are handmade in Austria.
Nice.
And they're very interesting, like shape of the blade.
Yeah.
And this handguard is nicely made, you see, from buffalo horn with kind of V-shaped
nice.
connection to the
Mhm.
stag handle,
Yeah.
and these are copper rivets here,
Mhm.
and you see how it's grinded. You can
Mhm.
make it really sharp,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think they came in 3 sizes. And
Mhm.
this Mr. Urban quitted or sold the business
Mhm.
to Joseph Pichler,
Mhm.
who makes them still now.
Mhm.
In formerly they were made in Steyr in
Mhm. Yeah.
Upper Austria,
Mhm.
and now they are made in Wire, not in
Wire
Steyr,
from
but
Steyr to
also in
wire.
Upper.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's very funny.
Uh-huh.
And these are typical knives you would put into your, into your leather
Yeah.
trousers in this
Yeah.
little
Mhm.
how is it called? Not bag. How is it called?
Pocket.
Pocket on the leather trousers.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Knickerbocker.
yeah, genau, in your knickerbocker trousers. And interesting enough,
Mhm.
because I like to show this knife to you today, I did a little research, and this knife costs it's a lot. It costs 129 euros. So
Okay.
it's not a
Not
cheap
a cheap blade.
knife, not a
Exactly.
cheap knife,
Mhm.
but it don't looks very expensive. But it's a really nice knife. You can do
Mhm.
everything with. It's not too
Yeah.
small. You see,
Yeah.
it fits the hand very
Mhm.
nice,
When did
nicely.
you cut your last sausage with it?
I think 2 weeks ago.
Nice.
Because I'm a kind of knife fetishist, I always take another knife to cut.
Mhm.
So
Of
okay, then
course.
I put that one back in the drawer, and I take
Mhm.
another one. Oh no, I have to cut my
Mhm.
sausage
Mhm.
with it.
Mhm.
So a very interesting, nice,
Nice.
typically Austrian
Urban.
knife.
And now
Yeah,
Pichler. Okay.
yeah.
Mhm.
Urban, yes, and now Pichler. They have a funny kind of logo on the
Mhm.
sheath, and maybe you
Mhm.
can see it here on
It's
the.
a bit more.
It reads rostfrei stainless,
Mhm.
and there are two crossed fish. This is the logo since I remember them.
Okay. So
I
it's a
don't know.
fish. If it's a fisher knife now, an
Oh,
Anglermesser.
not really, not really.
Mhm.
Yep, I like it.
Okay. It's his logo. Mhm. Nice.
So, yep.
Okay. Good. What are we talking about today? You leave soon and you drive to the Netherlands, right?
It will be kind of a hard mission because I plan to drive at 6 o'clock in the morning on
Mhm.
Saturday to
Mhm.
arrive on 6 o'clock in the late afternoon
Mhm.
in Netherlands.
Mhm.
And then I sleep there, and
Mhm.
the next day on Sunday I have two archery schools,
Mhm.
uh, Howard Hill style archery
Nice.
clinics, so to say.
Mhm. Mhm.
And because I have done a lot and lots of archery lessons and clinics and schools
Mhm.
and so, but maybe with one exception, I never did, especially an Howard Hill style archery school.
Mhm. Of course.
So I think it would be a good possibility today to ask you if you would be my client at this
Mhm.
school in Netherlands.
Mhm.
What would you be interested to to hear about? So you are already an archer. Maybe you are already a Howard Hill bow shooter
Mhm.
and a back quiver guy and so
Mhm.
on.
Mhm.
But what would you like to know
I
from
actually
me?
would be really there because I was supposed to be there too and give thumb
I
release
know.
courses, but I unfortunately cannot. I mean, I can leave Malta, but I can't come back without big of a hassle and bit of a mess. So that's why I cannot participate, and I'm very sorry for disappointing some people.
The
But
girls will cry over
it
there.
is like it is now. They cry everywhere. Why do you think the ocean is rising? Not because of the global warming, because I can't leave Malta and all
All the
girls are
girls cry
crying.
because you're just in
Exactly.
Malta.
Yeah. And I need to be careful. You know, Malta is a small island, so I need to.
So you
Exactly. I need to get a boat then
like the
soon.
Fiji Islands, you will get
Exactly. Yeah, just 1
flooded.
meter.
Flooded.
Yeah.
All the girls are crying.
Yeah. What would I like to know? First of all, a little bit maybe about Howard Hill, what guy he was. You know, why he shot like he shot. I mean, there are so many styles, and yes, a special swing draw, and I would like to know then exactly how did this swing draw. It's not exactly push pull. When I started teaching, I taught push pull only, and here's more the swing, and then this simply his.
That's a kind of difficult issue, because I'd like to compare it with the Robin Hood stories.
Okay.
I don't think Howard Hill invented this shooting style.
No, but
I don't think
he came to it. I mean, like
he
Lars
was
Anderson didn't invent the
like
Comanche
Elvis
style.
didn't invent the rock and roll, but
exactly.
you just know Elvis Presley for rock and roll, like that.
He made it his own thing
because he got famous and in the movies and so on. So you say, oh, that's a Howard Hill style bow and so on. But they were both like he's around since many years, I think. And what I would, of course, really, I would really give a big credit to Howard Hill, that he was an innovative guy. So he always tried the newest stuff. He was, he was one of the first, I don't know, Frank Eichholz was the first, but he was one of the first guys who went with his longbow to Frank Eichholz and said, put glass on that bow.
Exactly,
I thought I would make a kind of introduction and telling the folks there not how Howard Hill came to make this or that, but why it is the best way to shoot, in my opinion, of course.
Of course.
And so, and my answer to that is because it's not just an opinion, because Howard could argue every single part of his equipment and of his style, of his shooting style and so on, why he is doing that and this or not, and his success speaks for itself.
But his shooting style was developed mainly for hunting, right? So that was his main purpose.
I'm quite sure before hunting he was a target archer. I would say, I like to say it like that. Maybe or not maybe, Craig Eakin wrote it in his book about Howard Hill, and also Cherry Hill tells it, that they hunted rabbits on the farm with bow and arrow, and so that's a kind of hunting background. But to become a famous and exceptional archer, I think you can't get a famous exceptional archer hunting rabbits on the farm.
Of course not. You need to be a good showman and an entertainer. And then it doesn't matter which style you shoot. So I think becoming famous and having one shooting style does not have to be together.
I would have to do more research to remember it. I knew it in the back, I knew it better than now. But if I remember well, he went to Florida and he got in contact with this Mr. Curtis, who was an airplane producer. And I think this guy had some archery ranges. And Howard Hill was a kind of, how you call it, maintenance, or how is it called, like a housemaster at this guy at this archery ranges. And so he started archery with English longbows, self bows, and target archery. And because in the United States, hunting is, we talked with a lot of US guys, it's very natural there. Then they started hunting there in the Everglades and in Florida and so on.
So he developed his shooting style already as a target archer.
But you're right, and I'm quite sure when he started this target archery, he was as a stationary shot like all these Olympic and target archers are, because they are old pictures. He's anchoring down here like a Olympic archer, but it's a different game if you bow hunt, and there you have to, because it's very, there were also some techniques, and even today you can watch it, they draw from here to down, from up to, and that's stupid, because how it is that you never walk through the woods with the bow above here and then you draw, so you're walking like that, you have the bow on your hip, and maybe
you want to make less movement possible, so you only want to appear quickly and shoot, so you don't want to hello animal, I'm here.
You're walking with the bow in your left hand. Maybe you have an arrow also in your left hand, not in your quiver, or you have it already knocked if you're feeling you're close to the game, to the deer, and then you raise the bow and shoot. And that's that kind of raise, swing, draw, shooting, in my opinion, that lead it to that. And fast shooting maybe on rabbits and so.
Because I said when I started, I knew about the push-pull method. So you have the left arm
like
in an angle, and then you simply bring both up, you push, pull, and you let go. So it's not, he shoots more this swing, so the left arm is already more static.
Yeah,
he swings up and throws at the same time. So
what you're saying is kind of like Fred Bearshot. He had the push and pull method.
Pull, yeah. And you can do it from down there too. So you push while you come up, push, pull, bam.
Yeah. I think it's
not much difference.
Equal, also in quality and in performance, it's this is the style to shoot at moving targets.
Yeah, of course.
Because you can't be static when you're shooting at moving targets, and so this swing draw, or also this push and pull is made for hunting, in my opinion. Yeah. What I thought about this, I would introduce these clients to all the parts of the equipment. Explaining maybe what is the difference between a Howard Hill style bow and the usual longbow. And also maybe what we talked last time about the glove and the brace and the back quiver. I plan to bring some different back quivers and show them if you use a soft quiver, the arrows won't fall out.
This is a thing that was even new for me, because I said I was a reseller from Bear Paw, and Bear Paw only has the stiff stuff. So, and then when you have, of course, the arrows in, first of all, they rattle, and when you jump, then they fall out. So, of course, but when you have a soft quiver, then it shapes around your back. Makes sense.
Yeah. And you can make a salto, they won't come out.
Exactly.
So.
Okay. So you bring a few quivers and show them?
I'm writing here. I say introducing, because, and I would say, why is the Howard Hill style and of shooting
the best?
Still a good thing to do. Second, I'd say equipment.
Makes sense.
And I also will take some different makers, Howard Hill style bows with me, so they can see one of this maker, one of this, also try them. Then equipment and maybe arrows as a special chapter.
The arrows are still more important than the bow. You can have a crappy bow. When you have a good arrow, you still hit something. You can have the best bow in the world, you have a crappy arrow. You have a hard life.
And then I think, and it's planned like this from Magen Klomp, the manager of this event. They should shoot, and I should correct them. And my plan is like you do on your archery range, and I do for usually my archery schools. I like to shoot with every archer 3 arrows. One archer is shooting, and I'm standing next to him and looking what he's doing, and say, "Oh, lift it, that elbow or something like that, or correct them a little. Then
when I had courses in the beginning, what I always did, I let them simply do empty-handed, the complete form. Said, now stand there, left hand is down, and now you imagine you hold a string in your hand, and now you point at the target. You make sure your shoulder is down, elbow is out, and now you draw back, that the middle finger comes to your mouth, and then you give them bow and arrow. Then it's easy for them because they did this motion already. Because when you give them bow and arrow and even tell them and show them, look, this is how it's done.
But
still...
these are all archers.
Okay.
That's maybe the difference.
Okay.
Because they are at an archery tournament event, so they are all practicing archers.
It's fine. Even worse, and I would even more think that they need it, but it's okay. That's me.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I can do that, and they. Yeah. Do it just with,
especially when
how is it called, air guitar, and do it with the air bow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now look, it's the thing is, we have here these reenactment groups in Malta, and I sold 2 months ago a Turkish bow to a boy, to a youngster, whatever, 14, 15 years old, and after 2 months he broke it, most probably because of wrong stringing. But I said, okay, you get a replacement. And I said, but at least shoot the bow. And then what did he do? He shot 3 fingers under aiming. I said, wait a second, what are you doing? I said, yeah, but our instructor here, he is from Hungary. He shoots like this, 3 fingers under. I said, but you know, this shooting style might not represent the time period you reenact. So if you have now a Turkish bow, and if you have a Turkish outfit, and you shoot Ottoman and Sipahi and whatever, first of all, you shoot some release, not 3 fingers, but at least not 3 finger under Olympic style. So this is
how is it called with the woke people if you're doing a thing from another culture? Cultural
raping? No, I don't know.
No. Because you have to think about if it's
cross culture.
Still allowed if you're not Turkish to shoot the Turkish bow in Turkish style.
Yeah, but still, you know, but they are reenactors. So they want to show how it was in the time. And I told them once when they were in Medina, there was medieval Medina.
It's cultural theft, robbery.
Yeah. And they shot English longbows. They let the people shoot English longbows there, but with aluminum arrows. And then I said, listen, I think in that time, they didn't have aluminum. They shot wood arrows. Yeah, but they break so easy and they're so expensive. But you reenact, you show people how it was, whatever, how many 100 years ago. Then please make sure the equipment is accordingly.
Have you seen the new video of Lars Andersen?
Yes.
Now he already knows how the Comanches were shooting.
Of course.
I think if you watch it well, even the Comanches couldn't find out how they shot in the past, but he found out.
Yeah, that's why we need him.
Yes, I'm so happy.
The Comanches simply did it. They didn't know why and how, but they simply did it.
Yes, they killed the settlers.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy that he did it because he's not just a very exceptional archer, what he really is, but as you can see in the video, he also loves to ride on horseback, and this is like a God-given talent to ride there in this fence. And then
it was not the fastest ride, it was more walking, but at least he starts now horseback archery. So
I think best would have been like he would have showed this. He would have been able to show this very nice at, how is it called, where that wooden horses go in the circuit, carousel,
merry-go-round.
A merry-go-round with horses, you know, they make this. Yeah. And I couldn't understand the difficulty, the problems they invented for the Comanche, because when I'm, on the side of the horse and have my bow in the left hand, I can draw an arrow from my back quiver, put it on the bow, draw, and shoot.
Mhm.
So what is the problem of this, or
No, I don't know.
of all this?
I watched it only quickly. I didn't watch it really intensely because I was.
You should watch it again, because I'm quite sure a lot of Comanches today will say, "Oh, wow! Now
Finally
we know how we did it.
No,
Thank you,
let's
thank
invite
you,
Lars to America that he can
thank
teach all
you,
the.
Saint Lars.
Yeah.
You showed us how." And you know what?
Mm.
Another thing. What about this new with our friend Bo Krause?
No, holy cow. He went rogue again. He found out that I have one of my online students and I'm Facebook friend with her. And then he wrote her this message, oh, you need to be careful. He's a scam and he cheated on Carol with a book and he's a predator and a pedophile and whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you did something wrong, because Bo now sent, I am sure you don't know, there's a completely new action, a Bo Krause action feature out. You can buy online, and he sent me one. Look,
Okay.
it's a new Bo Krause action feature. So I have the bow in the, but look, it's a really nice.
But he got a haircut for that, yes.
Don Bo Krause.
Oh, nice.
Yes, he got his haircut, and but I will now put him in my car on, on the mirror. He's a nice guy.
If you don't need it, I wouldn't mind if you send it to me, because we sometimes like to shoot stuffed animals
for a target. Oh
him,
no, this is my lovely Bo guy.
Yeah, then send us Millie, it's fine too.
Where is she? I don't know.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So folks, if you like, contact Bo. He's now selling his own action features.
Yeah. Send him all an email and a message, and if you want, I even have his address. Then you can send him something nice in a small package and send it to him. He will be more than happy.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, popcorn and
how is it called?
Dr. Pepper and so on.
I thought about something different. Yeah, but it's okay.
Yeah,
it's. I mean, I'm sorry for him, kind of, because he's really a poor guy. He sits in his archery range. What he calls archery range looks more like a dump hole for every item you never used anymore in America. and he sits there and is alone and has nothing to do. And of course, he spends a lot of time on the internet. And then he sees some other archers. They are doing something different. And first, he's friend with them. Like now, he's still big friend with Lars. And then he's big friend, my friend, this one and this one. I was there too for a while. My friend Armin, and in every photo he showed the book, yeah, me and the archer and whatever. And then, things change.
I think one thing he could do, because you say he don't know what he should do, he could braid his hair.
Yeah, in his beard. Yeah.
And his beard, yeah. No,
could.
We are not naughty, nasty guys.
This is, for me personally, it's a sick person, but of course the police can't.
But I tell you one thing. I like still be friend with him. I don't, because he's not happy.
Yeah.
I'm not bothered about his talking and so on, and he don't talk bad about me. He's just criticizing me because we are having bad people on the show.
Yeah.
But I don't agree, and these are our guests, and what they say, they say. And if I find some point to put critic on them, I do, and you too. If you
criticize,
like to confront them with something.
Yeah, but for me, it's about respect, and this is what I wrote as a comment from one other Austrian, more kind of famous archery instructors. He should some release because he posted. Then who knows?
Who is a famous archery instructor in Austria?
Who knows the truth? I have no time for that. I should go better out and shoot some bows. Yeah. And I said, look, it's not about the truth. It's about the respect, that you simply, no matter what is true or not, if I'm a predator or not, maybe I am, but still the respect. You don't treat other, first of all, you don't treat other archers, but in general, you don't treat any other human being like that. If you need to treat them so bad, that means you want to bring them down to their level. And this is simply, we archers should at least have a little decency left.
And I think it's one of the points we made in our very first podcasts. It's about connecting archers, and not to be about jealous and to be angry about any other kind of style. And you know what I don't understand is, and I wrote it, I think yesterday or today, I don't know. I don't understand all these martial archery warrior kind of guys. Why are they so competitive? Why they like to be faster than the other one? Why they say this thumb stuff or this Eastern bows is so superior to Western style? You can't compare these things because warfare in Western areas maybe was different than in Eastern, in prairie and steppe surroundings, environment.
It doesn't matter which one is better or not. It always depends on the circumstances. We all shoot bow and arrow, no matter which style. If you shoot pinch draw, thumb, three finger, whatever, we all shoot bow and arrow. And this is what we had in one of our first podcasts, but still some people are simply competitive and they discover now something, or they realize that they shoot now better with thumb. And now, of course, thumb is better than three finger shooting. Whatever, but this for this one single person might be for some others too, but it's not a general thing. So it's simply, and I believe what you train properly, you will be always better than in every other thing.
And this is kind of racist, you know, because the idea behind that would be the Eastern people were more clever or smart than the Western people. And of course, that's, I see it, I understand it. In China, there was a big culture when we were still on trees. No problem about that. And of course, compared to a self-longbow, a self-bow made of one piece of wood, a composite bow, an Eastern bow, is a kind of high-tech, sophisticated item, tool, no problem. And I said it in the past, and I fully respect this. You can throw away all these self-bows after a number of shots, but you can give to your grandson your composite bow if you treat the bow well. So no question about that. But it's not that this one were stupid people and these were clever people.
And it's even always this is better than the other. In which regards, you know, maybe you can shoot with thumb release faster than with three fingers, but that's not that it's better when you go hunting or whatever. Counting. It always depends on what you're doing with it.
And like we have seen in the past, these stupid English longbow shooters did their job.
Or when you say, okay, give me then one of these fast thumb shooters and let them shoot 90-meter Olympic distance against an Olympic archer. What is now the better? What is the best?
No. I mean, I'm talking against my philosophy, but I tell you, when I was in Korea, we were at an archery range, and if I remember well, the distance is 140 meters.
45 meters. The Korean shoot 145. Yes.
And they go there with this little
of course,
child bows and draw back. And they said to me, "Do you like also to try?" I said, "Oh no, thank you. No, thank you." So they are able to shoot with their thumb draw with 140 at 100.
But still not that precisely than an Olympic archer, 90 with a sight or whatever. You know, this always depends. That's why but you still can't say now the Korean bow is the best. It's maybe the best for this
I don't know.
purpose, but penetrating armor might not happen because I shot very lightweight arrows with it.
Yeah.
So it's always
Yes, but if you're fighting unarmored people, that
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
yeah, of course, then doesn't matter.
You know, I think we can get to a point, and the point is there are a lot of Eastern bow types around
Mm.
who are very overbuilt and have very heavy limbs and tips and siyas and
Mm.
so these, in my opinion, are not good bows.
Mm.
When I'm looking at the Korean bows with their very, wooden
Mhm.
tips and so on, and also if I'm looking now to get back to the issue at Howard Hill style bows where the tip is like a pencil,
Yeah.
thin like that, or even recurved bows, very narrow recurved
Yeah.
bows with nice,
Mhm.
narrow limbs. If you have no mass, not
Mm.
unneeded mass
Mhm.
in the limbs, if the handle section is very short and there's not kind of that section which is not working for the shot, and that's like a Korean or many of the system bows have a very short handle and all the rest of the bow is working
yeah.
for the shoot,
Mhm.
for the shot.
Mhm.
And it's also with Howard Hill style bows, they're very short handle and very long limbs. These are like levers working.
Mhm.
And so they came to the same conclusion with different shapes and different ideas about bows, but not too much mass.
It
A
depends.
light limb material like
It depends. When
bamboo.
you see a classic Manchu bow has very massive, long, straight sears, but then you have simply, and here string bridges. So what you have is you have two bows. When you draw the bow and the string is still on the string bridges, it's like a short bow. And then you start, and then the lever of these two big sears comes into play and you feel it. It's like an early compound bow.
Yeah.
You draw 80 pounds, but you don't feel it that much because this helps pressing the limbs down, and
80 pounds is
it has
80
an effect.
pounds.
Huh? What?
80 pounds is 80 pounds. It's like that.
Okay.
If when back then at the tournaments and at the events and so, if a guy said to me, look, this bow, it has like that 60 pounds or so, you don't feel it. And so if you don't feel it, the bow can't get this on the arrow.
Yes,
You understand?
Yes, I know what you mean. And for a longbow, you're completely right. With, as I said, with a manchu bow, you have two bows in one bow with these sears. That's why it's a different thought process behind it, and that's why the efficiency is a little different from
I
a
don't
manchu bow
believe in
heavy
it.
sear bow.
You know why?
Hmm?
Because, okay, this Manchu bow, let's say this bow has 50 pounds.
Hmm.
If the sears are heavy,
Mhm.
so you're using X pounds just for moving that sears, and they will move slowly and not fast.
But when the sear comes forward and the string hits the string bridges, you have all this mass, all this energy, which kicks the arrow away. So it's a different design, and one simply need to accept that too. It's not that the thinner, the better, and it's the ultimate goal. It's right for working recurve bows, and it's right for long bows, but you reach limitations, or it's different when you have sear bows, contact sear bows. That's different.
Look, it's more simple. If you have weight in the limbs, you need some of the power of the draw weight of the bow just to move this weight.
Yes, I just explained what is happening then with the
this
weight.
Power is not in the arrow.
I just explained what happened when this weight hits then the string bridges. That's why they have these massive string bridges, and then it shortens the string with the mass, coming forward, and
if
it's
you're
like
making,
bam.
yeah,
And it gives a
and
kick, and the
additionally, you're making
manchus
a
for
kind of
shooting.
katra, And
no, you
then,
don't need
oh,
katra. No, no katra needed for a manchu. But this is simply the kick, and you have it, and you can shoot very heavy arrows
you have
very far.
the impression
No,
of that, but
yeah, I will do a comparison one day.
you know,
Yes,
okay, okay. Take a 50-pound Korean bow,
Mhm,
take a 50-pound Manchu bow,
mhm.
and then take maybe a 50-pound Howard Hill style bow.
Yeah.
And then you try it.
Mhm.
And you
And
will
then a
see
manchu
the
bow you need to shoot.
slowest,
No,
the
wait,
slowest will be
wait.
the Manchu bow. The
You-
slowest
But you
arrow
shoot all
speed
with the
will
same arrow. You shoot all with the same arrow.
always the same arrow. And
Then
the
you will be-
slowest will be the
Then
Manchu
you will
bow.
be surprised.
I don't think so.
Yes. Because a Korean bow works nice and fast with very lightweight arrows. They have 8, 7,
You can
6
use
grain
the
per
lightweight
pound.
arrow with all of
Mhm.
the 3 bows.
You will be surprised. I will do a comparison. I
Okay.
see that coming.
Okay.
I only need a Howard Hill bow that I can compare it. And I hope
Yeah.
somebody will send me now one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I need to do that now.
I'm
A Korean bow, a Turkish bow, a Manchu bow, and a Howard Hill longbow. And I shoot this. I hope that I get them all in the same poundage.
And I don't know enough about, the only bows I really know is these Korean bows because I have one. So I don't know about Turkish and a lot
They
of
are relatively similar to Korean bows. They have a very short sear, not very aggressive sear angle, and for the rest is a lot of bending work. So
okay.
they have another bend in, so they have a part of the end is still a little stiff. The Kazan is, so they have a little shorter bending section. They don't draw that long like Korean bow.
No, we will see. We will see.
Yeah.
So what additional information would you like to get about Howard Hill's style of shooting, or how he did it?
Yeah, first of all, the swing draw, that I can do it properly, and then how this reload, that you grab the arrow only at the nock, and how can you load fast with 3 fingers that you can still do relatively fast shooting.
How is a good back quiver built? What is important with a nice back quiver, a working back quiver in this style of shooting? That's what I also plan.
That would be interesting for me.
And as you said, this knocking method.
I think it's important because there you see then few of my students, they still grab the arrow like this and put the arrow on the string. I said, look, you need to always grab on the nock. Even I grab the arrow at the nock because there you control the arrow. No matter
That's
if you
very
do 3
important.
finger or thumb. That's why. No, that would be, I think that's all. And then simply, I don't know how long time you have for one of your clinics.
I think it's about 2 hours.
Yeah, then you're already through it.
Yes, and then I let them shoot, and I will correct them, say make this or that, and
it's fine. No, that's all.
Yeah,
it's fine. 2 hours, come on.
Yeah,
easy peasy.
Yeah, I don't have enough of them, but in 2015 I made these nice sew-on patches. Maybe I let make some. I will send you one, of course. But I haven't left enough for. My plan was to give every one of them one of these patches, but I haven't enough.
And make one of yourself, the Bowman,
No.
No.
I have Peter Stecher Archery School. I have they are quite like this. I show them next time, but I have one at hand. Oh, I show you one. Just a minute.
Of course, yeah, we wait for you. 5 million people wait for you now. It's no problem. You can go to the toilet or whatever, get some drink or eat something nice and do a bit breathing in between, breathing exercise. Breathing is such an important thing, and people always think they breathe. So I breathe. What do you tell me? Breathe properly. Most people breathe wrong. Learn how to breathe. This is one of the foundations of health. Besides thinking and fear and stuff. But hey, who am I? That takes a while, huh? I can show you. Last time I built a plane, and it's a paper plane, obviously, but it's a bat. And when you throw it, you don't see it now, then it starts flapping the wings. It's full cool. Oh, now he's back. I just entertained the people a bit.
You wear your anonymous mask.
No. I just showed I built last time a paper plane, and it's a bat. So when you
Like
throw
a Wuhan.
and when you throw this, then it starts really flapping with the wings. This thing, it looks so cool. When you throw it, it flies around.
You should make clinics or schools.
Yeah. Of course,
like
it will be
origami.
Will be my next YouTube channel, because I think archery.
You know what? Maybe that would be a good idea to make a paper underwear with girls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm fully in it. Yeah, of course, no problem.
Look, here's the
Dew patch. Oh, okay. Yeah, one can see. Yeah, nice.
archery school, Peter Stecher. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a typing problem. I know, I'm joking.
Yeah.
Stecker. Nice. Cool. Nice colors. Yeah, and the orange, your corporate identity color.
Yeah, with the arrows and the scarf.
Exactly. Nice. And the fletching. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, really.
It could be Bowman, only Bowman.
Back then I wasn't Bowman.
Okay.
I told you before, I just invented that Bowman when I went to China, because I asked these television guys there if I can wear my jacket with the Luminoc and with the sponsors so on patches, and they said, they don't know. And because I didn't know this before, if I can wear this jacket with then I thought about and came to the conclusion, okay, they can forbid me to make any advertising on their television for companies, but they can't forbid me to make advertising for myself.
Of course.
So I invented the name Bowman because like Batman and Superman and so on, like a superhero. And then I put these big letters on the Bowman. And so in every picture you see on the Bowman, and also on the back side, if they photographed or filmed me from behind, you could see it on the, that was the idea behind.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yep.
And this idea came before, and then you had the idea to write a book, or?
Yeah.
And then you thought, okay, that was not interesting. I travel and I'm a show archer. So and it would be nice to have.
Yes, it was a kind of also because I traveled there to China, and China, is a communist country, and not too long ago it was closed. You couldn't travel there, and I thought, what if you would had a special mission? So by day you're making the television show, on the night you got another mission to do. It was kind of the first idea. But what I dislike is now the connection between Bowman and my person. On the other hand, I'm a big fan of Karl May, and he did the same.
Exactly.
He invented stories, and the people were very confused. And he also acted like these are real adventures he had.
Yeah, but I mean, you have to admit, when you read the Bowman, and especially people now, it's out in English, the first one. I still need to do a book reading, but I need to read it now again because I forgot almost half of what is written in the first book. But when you read then that this guy is smoking his filterless or whatever cigarettes, and he is drinking his whiskey, and he needs his coffee, it sounds sometimes a little like Peter.
That's only because I'm a big believer in the idea that you just can write about things you really know.
Yeah, authenticity, yes, of course.
Yes.
Makes sense. So then you had this idea, I write a book about the Bowman, who is a showman by day and kind of a spy at night, and has some special mission.
Yeah.
You had to find a mission, or was it clear already that you talk about the wildlife, where they take the thingies from the, how do you call it, the trunks from the
Ivory.
Rhinoceros.
Rhinoceros.
Yeah.
The biggest problem, so because I'm a fan of the idea that you just write about things you really know. So I like to write about an archer, of course.
Yep.
And I also knew that if you like to be successful with writing, you have to write the kind of serial, not one book about an archer, but if it's not Robin Hood or so, or Deliverance, these are nice books about archery and so. And so the biggest problem was to put an archer into a crime or thriller adventure. That was not, for one book, it's not a problem, because there can be a kind of murder or assassination with bow and arrow, and the archer would be the expert, the commissar, the inspector, calls the archer saying, I don't know about anything about bows and arrows. Can you help me? How could this happen? And so,
I mean, it's already not easy to write about an archer in this time, in the present. If you would write a story 300 years ago, everybody was an archer, so it was easy.
And I didn't like to make a kind of superhero like Batman, who is stalking through the night with bow and arrow and killing gangsters or so. The idea is nice, but there's Green Arrow, and so this it's around, so it's not a new idea. And then I came to it, and so usual crime, murder and robbery and all this bank robbery and so, or kidnapping, you can't use an archer in this kind of stories. So I came to the idea that it has to be connected with hunting, with poaching and so. And because every week, once a week, you have in the newspapers pictures of poached rhinos and poached elephants and tigers and so, and it's also, I feel also like that's horrible, that they get just killed because of traditional Chinese medicine believings, which is kind of esoteric. Then I thought, that's a fight, a war that is never over, because people will poach rhinos and elephants and tigers over and on and on. And so, yes, it's about poaching. And then the idea was to create a kind of James Bond character with bow and arrow. But he's not just connected to bow and arrow, but he's also a kind of martial arts guy. He likes, he's able to throw knives or to fight and to box and so on. And then I thought, the first book is kind of the introduction of the character, and in the second, as you read it, he will get missions from this Dr. De Veld, who is working for the UNODC, and she will give him very harmless missions. You put an eye on that ship and what is going on, and then you call the police and so we can get these bad guys. But he will overdo it every time, like James Bond. When James Bond is coming back to M, he will say, okay, it was not necessary that you destroyed that building and that and all the cars and everything. And that was the idea. So because the Bowman is a kind of unhappy guy in the first book, I think you can find it out. He don't knows why he's unhappy, because he don't knows it, but he feels it, and then it turns out, because he's a kind of a reborn warrior hunter, he's just happy when he's fighting and hunting.
He needs adrenaline.
And so he don't knows what he's lacking, what his misery, his problem is, but when he gets into manhunt,
Mm-hmm.
then he know, oh, okay, that's it. Then he's
Mm-hmm.
happy,
Mm-hmm.
and that's kind of the idea
Mm.
behind it.
Yeah.
Like he's a reborn old warrior who
Mm-hmm.
is in the wrong time,
Mm-hmm.
and so he loves,
Mm-hmm.
and the ambiguity, or how you call it, the polarity. So is he better than the bad guys because he loves to hunt and kill?
Mm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
that
what is
was.
very important to me is also I don't treat the bad guys as bad guys in the
Mm-hmm.
book,
Mm-hmm.
because they're also doing their job.
Yeah.
The poacher in Congo or in Kenya who is killing that rhino is also a poor guy who is doing his job and likes to feed his family,
Yeah.
and he's a little part of this whole big engine,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
this whole big mafia.
Mm. Yeah.
And of and what I also wanted to tell the people is it's easy on a desk to talk about how bad everything is in the world and to be against violence,
Mm-hmm.
while on the front lines
Mm-hmm.
there's bloody fighting
Mm-hmm.
between poachers and game wardens and
Mm-hmm.
you know these park
Mm.
sheriffs and so on.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the idea behind. And I also like to get a little, and the idea is you have to imagine this, since I think it's just about 1970 that the trade with ivory and rhino and so is forbidden, prohibited.
Mm-hmm.
Before thousands and thousands of years, it was a business like any other.
Yeah.
And so I also thought about these families
Mm.
because they are trading routes, you know, the Silk Street and from Africa up around Petra, it
Mm-hmm.
was a kind of big trading place.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought there's one big clan behind this since thousands of years.
Yeah. Most probably, yeah. Or a few. Mine is was a few
I
families, and
don't
then they
know.
go together like mafia, as you said.
Yeah, yeah.
Big family.
And they do it for 2000 years,
Yeah.
and then 1970 the UNO says, oh, now it's prohibited to trade this kind
Mm-hmm.
of stuff. So they are also kind of victims of the time.
Yeah.
We do it for thousands of years,
Yeah.
it's okay. Now it's not okay. And of course it's not okay today because there are not enough elephants and tigers and so on.
Mm-hmm.
You can discuss about that for a long time.
Yeah.
And that was the idea behind. In the third part, the end of this trilogy, the Bowman will be confronted with the head of this scorpion. I call it for myself, I didn't have the right name, but it appears a little in the first two books.
First Scorpio is a
It
killer.
was
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
Corp Enterprises or so. And
Mm-hmm.
Corp, CORP, is a part of Scorpion.
Mm-hmm.
And the first book is beginning with the fight of a scorpion
Yeah, yeah.
with the owl,
Mm-hmm.
and the scorpion is killing the girlfriend of the Bowman
Mm-hmm.
because he's very arrogant. He says, I can hit everything. I don't need to train,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not good enough.
Yeah, not
And
good
that's a
enough to
kind
save
of
them.
trauma he's keeping with him.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, and in the end, this is, I call it for me, the Scorpion clan.
Mm-hmm.
This is this old family located in Jordan, in a kind of fortress in the mountains like Petra, a kind of mountain fortress. And there they're located, and they are steering and managing all this poaching and hunting. And of course, very absurd, they also dislike poachers because they like to poach and harvest the ivory and the rhino horn and so. But if there are other poachers, they dislike them. And they don't like to extinct elephants or rhinos because that's their source of income.
Okay.
That's their business, yes. And that's the idea behind. And it's very absurd at the very end because they also like to protect the elephants, the tigers, and the rhinos because it's their business. And the UNO, DC, and all the wildlife, and so they also like to protect the animals.
Yeah, but
That's
for a different purpose. Yeah.
Yep, that's the idea behind.
So then you had this rough idea, and then how did you start? Did you write then roughly some milestones where the story would go, or you simply have it in your head and you start writing, or how does this, how do you write the book?
I can tell you this. I started like that I said, what is the most hot story scenery you like to write? And I started with that Jellercomp episode when they hunted the poachers.
Yeah.
And this second chapter, I think, in the first book, that was the first piece I wrote. And then I thought, okay, and now, okay, and this one poacher is the same one who will poach the Capricorns in Austria. So and so it was the poacher thought, Vitaly thought he will just be confronted with simple policemen there in this village. And the policemen and also Höllriegel and also Dorn thought, okay, it's a kind of poacher in the village. So both were wrong, because the poacher was a high sophisticated killer. And he also didn't know that they put on a kind of special unit to, yeah.
I understand. Cool.
Yeah.
So you simply wrote a part, an episode which you liked the most, and then you started.
Look, I tell you something. I show you something. Look, I have here. It's a book about the book. There are many notes and draw. You see here, I draw the boat like that Gismara boat yacht is, or like that Haven is in Hamburg, or. And then,
I mean, when you care about details, you need to know these things. So you need to do some research.
And you need it for yourself, because when you wrote, he went to the right, so you have to have a plan, because in the next scenery you didn't know to the left or to the right, or how many steps or something. And then at the beginning, I made me a kind. You see, that's a horrible long thing. Okay. So I made, here's Prologue. And it's like that 1.1. I separate this by in group and out group. So the in group are the good ones and the out group are the bad ones. So one chapter is what the in group does, and the next chapter maybe what the out group does, and so and then I wrote in this thing timeline. What kind of timeline, what in every chapter, in every because I'm a kind of esoteric, as you know, a spiritual guy.
Yeah, of course.
I said I need chapters like 6, 12, 18, 24, like the arrows in the quiver. Yes, numerologist magic. So my plan was to make 32 chapters. It doesn't break out because there are 31, but I don't know. And so I thought, what I need in every chapter for the story. What in 2 sentences, what has to happen in that chapter?
The catch. What is
to carry the story on? Yes. And then I thought, okay, now this should happen, and this, and then because it's like that, when you have the idea what has to happen, then you have to think about how.
Yeah,
can this happen?
How and where and who is involved? And,
Yes,
yeah, exactly.
and like a movie maker, you say, okay, you need this kind of dialogue between the commissar and Dorn, so to say.
Yeah.
So where is this dialogue happen? Is it in a church, in a restaurant, in the woods, in and that's painting a kind of picture. Every scenery you have to like the setting, the surrounding, and where this is, and so on.
Yeah, nice.
Yep.
It's really well written. So I mean, it's the first roman. How do you call it in English?
Novel.
It's the first novel you wrote, right? I mean, you wrote books already like this, about the archers and stuff, but it's different because you simply write about the person and the whatever history and
that's a simple thing. Yeah.
For a novel and how you built it up and how you did all the sections and put it together, impressive.
And I can tell you this: I started writing in the end of the 1980s. Until 2016, I had no idea. I was able to write a nice scene or a nice short story or a nice, I don't know, but not a closed, a complete story.
It's a big thing, but on the other side, when you break it down into chapters and scenes like a movie, then it's all of a sudden then you only focus on this one scene,
and most people don't realize you have also to know in which time frame this story happens. Is it 1 week, 1 day, 2 months? There are some novels it's about 100 years as the story, like Buddenbrooks or so. This is a whole family story about 100 years. And so you have to say, okay, it's about 1 month, this is 1 week, and and what is the weather? It's dark, or it's raining, or it's sunny, or it's like that or like that, and the flowers were so beautiful. Okay, is it in May or is it in, these are many things you have to think about. And all these these components connect together to the setting of the story. Because if you feel, oh, it's hot outside and little ticks and flies and so on, this is different if it's cold outside or so.
But it's for me, this is I'm interested in, but I always fear that I lose track, that you get lost in the writing. But when you break it down and you realize, okay, what is the scene today? It's dark, it's raining, it's cold, it's because it's or whatever. And when you check all these things, then it gives you this ease, and then you can expand in this frame your whole story.
The best tips of all I ever got before I read many books about how a story works, gave him my ex-girlfriend Valerie, and she said, she's part of the book. No, she said,
a French person.
Start with the end.
Start with the end.
So if you know the final scenery, where do you want to get? Then you can start writing from the beginning, because every sentence and every idea has to point and lead to that,
to the target.
To that.
Nice. That makes sense. So you don't get lost in your whatever you start writing, and you end up in Africa instead of Canada.
And I have to confess, if I would do it again, I wouldn't publish the first book, because the first book is a kind of overture, a kind of introduction to the character. I could have put in the segments of this first book in the next and the next book?
I think it's okay because you need to introduce the characters, and the people need to get this emotional bonding to a character. So you need to describe it a little longer. So it's okay, that you start with a Bowman being in where did you work in Africa?
Kenya.
Huh?
In Tunisia.
In Tunisia, when you're working there, and then you met this, I think it's important. So I would not neglect the part one.
And what I didn't know back then, and I found out just some weeks ago, and I didn't it right in the second book, but now I know it. I did it a little, but not conscious, but I did it. I can tell you this. Think about the James Bond movie. James Bond is walking into the office of M. M gives him a mission, say, fight the Russians or something. There's a bad guy who wants to destroy the earth. And James Bond is walking on, and he has problems to fulfill the mission. But, and that's the real thing, he has no dilemma. And now think about High Noon with Gary Cooper and Grace Kelly. Gary Cooper is about to marry Grace Kelly, I think, the next day. And the one day after the next day, I don't know. And the next day, or I think the next day at noon, the gangsters will arrive with the train in this village, in this little town. And his fiancée, Grace Kelly, says, come on, let's go on a coach and drive to the next village, forget about these gangsters. His friends in the city are saying, of course we help you, but then the closer the
High Noon is.
High Noon is, they say, I like to help you, but I have a family. I don't like to get into a shooting and so on. And we don't need any shooting in this town. So what I like to say is that's a dilemma, because he loves this woman. He likes to marry her, and every watcher of the movie says, oh, get into that coach and drive. His argument is, okay, when we drive away, they will follow us to the next town, and the fight will be there, and so it's better the fight is there because I know this town, and so on. But what I like to say is it's a dilemma. He has to hurt someone. He hurts, and his friends in the town are also in a dilemma because they're friends with him, but they don't are courage enough to help him. His girlfriend, Grace Kelly, is in a big dilemma because he's a Quaker. She's a Quaker. She's against violence and arms and weapons and so. And in the end, she helps him. She shoots out of the window, and so on. So there's a lot of dilemma. And that's the point of a good story. That's what I found out. And for example, in the first book, when the Bowman shots Vitaly, that could be a very longer idea. Should I also become a murderer? Should I do this? And so on. Or when he follows Axam to Hamburg, he could say, I'm getting now a real outlaw, and so on. A kind of dilemma. What will Ulrich think about this when I do, and so on. And that was a thing, an idea I didn't know enough. I did it kind of instinctively a little.
It's a bit in there.
And that's the big point I like to get into the third one.
But you see that even without dilemma, a movie or a book can be good when the action is appropriate.
Or think about the Rambo movies. in the first movie, there's a dilemma.
Mm,
The sheriff
mm,
is right. He says, we don't need guys like you in our town.
mhm,
And Rambo could say, okay, I'm
mhm,
going to the next
mm,
town. But no, he goes back,
mhm,
and then the story starts.
yeah,
In the second movie, he just gets a mission,
mhm,
and he fights. There's no dilemma.
mm,
But of course, if he has the order to fight, or
mm,
like James Bond, he has the order to
mhm,
do this and that, he does
mm,
it, and he don't think about any dilemma.
mm,
And so these are nice action and nice movies, no question about it. But if you like to catch the reader or the watcher, you
mhm,
need that kind of dilemma, because that's why High Noon is still
mm,
a highly praised movie.
mhm. Yeah, but in the Last Blood, Rambo had then a bit dilemma with his, what was his daughter or something. She went to Mexico and then they killed her almost there. And then he went to Mexico and beat up these gangsters, and then they came to his ranch where he finished them all then. So
Where's the
kind of,
dilemma? Where's the dilemma?
you know, that he had to find his daughter there.
No,
And
no, 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 no.
got the
You
dilemma.
have a wrong idea of dilemma.
Dilemma, okay.
A dilemma is a kind of decision,
Yeah.
and not a problem.
Mm,
What you're describing is a problem,
okay.
but the dilemma
Mm,
is, uh, if the knight walks to the dragon and to save the princess,
mhm,
a little dilemma is is in the second Bowman book, when the Bowman is in the bathhouse with the two women.
okay. Mhm,
So every man would say,
mhm.
because
Yeah, do it.
his manly honor, you can't say no, and of course it's a nice situation,
Mhm,
nobody would know. And so, and
mhm,
this is, should I do this or should I not? And but
mhm.
and then that's the point of the hero, that's the strength of the hero. He does a thing nobody would do.
Yeah. Mhm,
Nobody would walk to a dragon to fight the dragon to save
mhm,
a princess, but the hero
mhm. Yeah.
does it.
It's a hero's journey. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you have to surprise,
Mhm, mhm,
like with High Noon. Every watch will
mhm,
say, get into that coach, let that gangsters
mhm.
alone, and if they come, you fight them. But
Yeah.
and then the movie would be over.
Yep.
And that's the point of a dilemma.
Mm,
And
mhm.
that's what I found out, and now I'm know how to do it better.
Okay, so in part three, we see more dilemma.
Yeah, dilemma and dilemma.
Dilemma and dilemma. Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah,
Looking forward. Mhm, cool.
yeah.
And then you simply start, but you don't write then chronologically. So once you have your timeline set, you simply think about, you have the idea of a scene which takes place later, and you simply write notes for this one. And
Because I'm a big Karl May fan,
yeah.
I wrote the end of part three,
Mm-hmm.
I think 1.5 years ago,
Okay.
because I like to write the kind of Karabenemsi and Haji Halif Omar story when they
Mm-hmm.
are in the desert and
Mm-hmm.
they're riding in Jordan to
Mm-hmm.
that kind of Petra location where this fortress of the Scorpion clan is
Yeah.
located. And yes, I wrote this, and I wrote it. I'm not finished with that scenery, but I know
Mm-hmm.
how it will end.
Okay.
And now I'm still working on the translation of the second
Mm-hmm.
part
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
English. But now I'm getting hotter and hotter to
I
write the
see.
third part.
One can see that you're motivated now. Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah,
Very nice. Yeah. It's
yeah.
good. And then after this trilogy, it's done, or can we expect something more from the
No,
book?
then I like to write on, but there should be one book is one story.
Okay.
I like to get a little into cryptozoology. So maybe Bowman likes to hunt like Bigfoot or a
Mhm.
Yeti or so.
Mhm. But it will be still Thomas Doran or some other
Yeah,
person. Okay.
no, it
But
will
will be
still,
still but Bowman, but okay, not as
yeah.
part of the team.
There's a nice conspiracy about Bigfoot, that this, this Patterson Gimli movie where they filmed
Mhm.
Bigfoot. this famous, I think it was from the 60s or 50s, I don't know. There's a conspiracy theory that the how are they called, timber, the wood industry,
Yeah.
they find a population of Bigfoots, and they killed all of them because if it become public, they would protect them and so on, treat them like humans and so. And I like to get like a little into this idea.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Cool.
And yeah, what's the idea? So every book should be a single adventure, little mystery, little esoteric, as I'm an esoteric guy, of course.
Full blown. This is simply, you don't want to admit it, but you are.
Of course I am, because you see in the books, they are always like this with the drugs and with the shamans and so on, and with these virgins on the island.
It's part of a warrior. When you have this ancient warrior in you, you are in contact with these things, so you can't deny it.
Yeah. But the Bowman is like a stoic, dry type of guy. Okay, they give me drugs, so of course I'm seeing something. I saw something because they drugged me.
I understand.
Yeah. And I think it's in the second book that Severin, the abbot, and this Dr. De Veld said this guy has no idea about spirituality and he's just a dry guy. We have to help him. So these two, the abbot and De Veld, are the kind of like with the Odysseus stories. The Odysseus story is the main level, but above this is the kind of goddesses level. They are playing like with puppets with the humans. And so Bowman is also played like a puppet because they sent him to the shaman, or they sent him over there and there. And so he's a kind of puppet too. He don't knows.
And the idea that the Bowman lives in this not sanctuary, monastery in how did this come?
The idea was like with Superman, this fortress in the Antarctic, or where Superman has this fortress, or also Batman has his his cave, and so so it's a silent place where he can go back and he feels protected. He's not into the dark, ugly world outside, but in this monastery, he's for himself, and it's a silent place where he can be.
And especially this idea that this has to be, or that it was once protected by an archer, and that's why, because of this tradition, they still have this small house where still an archer has to live. Interesting.
But the other archers were then the gardeners of the monastery. But the monks then said, no, Dorn has nothing, nothing similar, nothing in common with these bygones. Yes, and kind of parts of this story are true. This how is it called, relics from Saint Sebastian and so on. It's kind of true, but not in this monastery. But I stole it from another story.
Doesn't matter. Works. Works quite well. Interesting. So when is part 3 ready? Oh yes.
One secret should be unfolded also, because nobody knows where is the Bowman coming from.
Yeah, that's true.
He's in that monastery. Nobody knows what is his story.
Did they find him on the doorstep or something? Was he
that was an
orphan?
Yeah, that's the idea behind. Yeah.
So you will have in book 3 some backflash,
some more unfoldings. So
okay.
to say,
Cool. When is it ready? No stress. But when you write every day 2 hours, and in
if I
would say Christmas, you will be ready writing.
Now I'm driving to Netherlands.
Okay, the first thing.
And when I'm back, I will I will finish in 2 weeks the correction of the
English.
second
Oh,
English
okay, good.
edition of the second book, and then I will write on
Okay.
the third, and maybe
Yeah.
I think in February I will be finished,
Okay.
or maybe in January.
Yeah, I think January.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah.
And in March, April will come out something kind of like this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's the plan.
And then we need to find some sponsors, and then we make a small Netflix series out of it,
Yeah.
or Amazon Prime.
It could be cool serial.
It would be really cool, because this is the thing is, nowadays everybody is a superhero. You know, they always have some unbelievable whatever, the Green Arrow and all of these guys, you know, and that you have one down to earth, simply an archer who does this a little not Robin Hood, a little James Bondish style, I think would be interesting to watch, because it's more where you can relate to as a normal human being, because everybody who watches the Green Arrow, okay, it's, you know, it's simply not possible.
And the idea behind was also, if you travel to a country, as I traveled to China, you are not allowed to take any weapon with you.
Yeah.
But if you're a show archer and you have a big box of bow, arrow, knife, pliers, and stuff, you can travel in this and you at least have a kind of weapon.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was the idea behind.
Makes sense.
So you have a kind of disguised, and as you see, the bowman is not fixed to the bow. He's using different weapons. Because when it's clever to use another weapon, it's
of course.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. For the third book, the plan is always you have to have a new trick, and my idea is there he can use a kind of ricochet, a bouncing off shot, so he can shot around the corner with the arrow, what you couldn't do with the gun.
Yeah, hardly.
Hardly. Yeah. So you have to find out also things where the bow is superior in a situation. Or like in the second book, when they shot at him with AK, with assault rifles, he can see the gun blast, the fire blast, but they couldn't see where
the arrow comes from,
from where the arrows comes in. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, the bow and arrow, for a good reason, main weapon over thousands of years, and
maybe millions. Yeah. Yep.
Fine.
Nice.
Now go first to the Netherlands, say hello there. Greet all of them nicely and warm from me. I wish I could be there.
I will do. I'm very curious how many people are at this gathering, at this event.
I think it's a big one, because he had to already postpone it, I think, because of this crap. I can't say crap.
I think he's a very active guy, this Martin. He does a lot of business and I'm really looking forward to meet him, to talk to him.
Yeah,
very nice.
Yeah, good food and nice, and then evening.
So what is the conspiracy of the week? To get to a good end, what is the conspiracy of the week?
Conspiracy of the week. Oh, I don't know. There are almost no conspiracies left. That's the problem.
Everything has come true. Yep.
Yeah, what I say is, I mean, that 2030, the plan is that we don't have real money anymore, only digital money. And that through injections, that's why they want the kids that badly injected, it will run. Or when you watch, there's a new movie came out, the Nice Guy or something, I forgot the name now, and it's again like the Truman Show. You remember the Truman Show?
Yeah.
It's kind of the same. He is only one of the side players in a video game, but it's artificial intelligence, on one day, and he always does the same. He goes to his bank, has his job, gets in the morning his coffee, and one day he starts having consciousness. And one day he says, no, I don't want a coffee, I want a cappuccino. And then they look at him, what, you can only have a, and then it starts unfolding that you realize that there are main players in this play, and he's one of these side actors which gets simply shot or beaten up or whatever. And this is, again, of course, you can see it from the funny side that, oh, look what is possible with AI. On the other side, it's again this merging for me as a conspiracy theory, this merging between computer realism and reality. And I think that the kids, they are now 10 years old, in 10 years, live in kind of like a mix of reality and virtual reality.
We are already in a virtual reality because if some big companies, some big players are showing you what is the reality.
Yeah.
So how far we are from a matrix or a
just wanted to say
artificial,
matrix.
Yeah.
That's true.
And if we would be in a matrix, we never would know.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know until you unplug or you get unplugged. Then you know, oops, something wrong.
You know, sometimes when I was very unhappy because, with love or with something like that, I thought, okay, maybe in the next parallel universe, it's all different.
Yeah.
So I don't believe in that parallel universe theory, but it's exactly as plausible as the single universe theory. We don't know. And I don't know if I said it before. I heard a nice, interesting thing, and a guy said when he fell asleep, or no, he was on drugs, I think on DMT. And he said while he was drugged, he lived a life. He lived 40 years. He got married, he got child, and so on. And he was just drugged for 2 hours. But in these 2 hours, he experienced 40 years of life.
Yeah. It's kind of like Inception. Remember this movie?
Yeah.
When they go in the first dream level, and then it's already slow motion, and you go from this in the next, and then one day is, I don't know, 20 years.
Or like that Indian story when an Indian Native American every night dreamed that he's a dog. And after some time, he didn't know if he's a dog dreaming that he's a man, or he's a man dreaming that he's a dog.
Exactly.
So that's a very interesting thing. And if you think about that reincarnation religions and so on, and if you think about the very first shamans who took this DMT and this kind of LSD stuff and hallucinations and dreams and so, or ayahuasca, and so, if you're able to live a life 40 to 100 years in 2 hours with everything, with marriage, with children, with everything, so it's very confusing.
No, for me not, because I think time is the illusion.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's no time. In fact,
that's
there's
why
no time.
We only experience time like this.
Our millions and millions of years on Earth, the Earth is existing, or billions of years, could be 1 second in the universe.
Like a one-day fly comes and then dies in the night, and it can be Mother Earth can be like this, pops up, and next day gone.
And we don't know how big we are. We all could be, our universe could be like the size of a tennis ball, and we don't know.
Exactly.
Time
and space, these are the two things we don't really know. That's why the Earth is flat.
Oh, I saw a very nice podcast now about the hollow Earth.
Yeah, okay.
about Arctic and Antarctica, and
Neuschwabenland,
there were the entries to the hollow world and so on, and nobody knows.
Where they said Adolf fled because they didn't kill him, then they said Adolf went into Neuschwabenland for a while. Others said
That's very interesting, because this was also an issue of this podcast, this Schwabenland expedition, and also the Admiral Byrd expedition, of course.
Yeah.
And you know what's very interesting? This Admiral Byrd and also the Bush family, the George W. Bush and so on, they are saying their ancestors were Captain Smith and Pocahontas.
Okay.
So they connect that British line of colonial,
aristocratic,
and the Indian branch, because Pocahontas was the princess of the, and so on. Very interesting. So, and there everything mixes up, and you get to the nicest, prettiest conspiracy theories now.
Of course. But when they are capable of writing it down, that it's almost believable. So that's why you never know.
Yeah.
On the other side, when we only live in a matrix, everything is right and wrong. So it doesn't.
And if you're thinking about it, I don't know how deep the deepest hole is in Russia into the earth. I think, I don't know, 20 kilometers or like that. I don't know. I think about that. So who knows what's in, and you know, in South America, in Brazil, and there are caves, hundreds and hundreds of kilometers. You know, these pictures, these photographs from these caves, these big crystals inside, and so, and nobody knows what's inside the earth.
Yeah, exactly. Even in Malta, we have a second Malta underneath, with caves and ways. You can go from Valletta to Melieha in a tunnel without seeing daylight. So you can cross the whole island. So there's a lot going on, but they closed everything. And it's interesting, only for there was once this art when we were Valletta 18, you know, Valletta was the cultural heritage.
Yep.
And they opened one small hole in the center of Valletta, and you could go down and you saw a water cistern, where there is, and it was, I don't know, kind of like 10 meter high with these arches and
like a church.
But you know, it's quite massive for being under a town, under a city. And this is only the part they show you.
And that's true with most of the cities around the world.
Yeah.
And there's one theory about 12,000 years ago, or 11,000 or so, or 13, about that.
It doesn't matter.
There was a big cataclysm, a big catastrophe. It was the end of the last real ice age. And, you know, the continents, the northern continents were 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers of ice shields on these continents. And then a big meteorite storm, you know, meteorites. And they said about 50 years or 100 years, there was one impact after another impact, and they got this ice to melt. And this ice and water floods threw away everything. And so there were cultures before, and you find nothing from them, because this big, there, and you know, there are in the United States and also here in the Alps, there are rocks big as a house in the middle of a meadow. So just water can have washed this big. Okay, and there are theories that the Grand Canyon was just washed out in 2 years, not in millions of years. So, and the theory is that because of these heavy impacts from these missiles from space, the people went underground. So they made these caves and big, massive
cities under
stone
underground.
buildings
Yeah, exactly.
and so on. I don't know. Maybe it's true.
Mm.
Yeah.
We
And
never know.
that's the argument. They say there were big, high sophisticated civilizations before, but you can't find anything because
Yeah.
the sea levels
Mm.
rose about, I don't know, 100 meters, and everything
Mm-hmm.
changed. So you can find something about this
Mm.
Atlantis and so
But
on.
I don't want you to find something. You never know.
You know, when a rock as big as a house
Mm.
is sliding over
Mm.
something, there's
Mhm.
nothing left but
Mm.
bone dust or something,
Yeah.
and so you can't find any skeleton or everything
Mm.
or
Mm.
anything.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Washed away.
Must not be the conspiracy is is
Mm.
is 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 still there because our history writing is not true, and
Mm.
Göbekli Tepe showed us that nothing is true about it
Mm.
because this is about 12 to 11,000 years old, and this is
Mhm.
high. It was a high culture who
Yeah.
built that that and I think it's just 1/4 or less excavated. It's a big,
Mm.
big thing there in
Mhm.
Göbekli Tepe.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, history was rewritten in the Renaissance. Everything.
Yeah,
You say. So that's why you don't know what happened before is simply what they wrote in the books. They
yeah,
wanted you to believe that what happened before.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Okay,
Good.
so
Done
I
for
have to
today.
go on and prepare for the travel.
Exactly. Pack for your travel, pack for your journey.
Tomorrow I have go to a drugstore to make an PCR coronavirus
But imagine
zombie.
you're negative, then you can't go.
Oh yeah,
Oh, and you know it's like Russian, like roulette. It's
you never know.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you weren't sick for a while, so should be fine, I guess.
Oh.
Because they seem to check for leftovers in your protein chains, and it's fine.
Yeah.
Should be fine. And if not, do another one. This is like even Elon Musk once said he went to 3 or 4 tests on one day. The first one was positive, the next negative, the next positive, the next negative on one day. So that's why
Yeah.
take another one.
Yeah.
Take as many as needed until you get a positive one.
You know, and if you believe in all that stuff, it's okay.
Mhm.
But if you believe in that stuff, you must be even horrified more,
Yeah.
because I'm sure I will sit into my car on Saturday morning and drive straight to Netherlands. I'm sure nobody will control me.
Yeah, most probably. Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So if this would be a zombie apocalypse,
Yeah. Every 50 meters would be a control checkpoint and whatever. Where do you go? Where do you come from?
yeah,
Where's your papers and whatever?
yeah,
Of course.
yeah, yeah,
But I mean, this, of course, obviously. And the other thing is a discussion. I mean, if you're afraid, if you're in fear, then, you know, get your shots, wear your mask, keep your social,
yeah,
fine, but don't force it on others. So it's not,
yeah.
you know, I harm nobody. I am a healthy person. I don't spread any viruses. So,
You have to
and
prove.
if I feel that my nose is a little tingly, then even our common sense always showed us, oh, so we don't go to grandfather, you know, keep a little bit.
What you're doing about, then you put your nose into a pussy, and the next day
I have my artificial one here.
artificial pussy.
It's so good. You have no idea.
And how is the smell of this? Like a real
These are simple. I can show it to you. Look, this is a small
like
sack.
a real pussy.
No, it has nothing to do with pussy. There are different kinds of herbs and leaves and stuff like this. Now everything falls down.
Where you got it from? An old witch?
No, it's from Thailand. You can even buy it here in Malta. I found someone who sells it in Malta. It's simply an inhalator with a good smell, and it's like eucalyptus or something, or like something refreshing, but completely natural. So there's simply some bark from a tree or something.
What is a good thing? When I was a kid, and you had problems with your nose, and so this Vic Vaporub, you put it on there
Just a
and
little there.
nice.
That's fine.
Nice,
Yeah.
yes, yeah. Your eyes are
Yeah, of course, it
tearing
started
and
tearing
burning.
up. Yeah.
But then it's okay.
Yeah. I mean, let's at least a little common sense rule on this planet, and it's fine.
The bad thing is that the bad thing is the common sense.
Yeah, because it's not so common anymore.
Craziness is common. Craziness is common now.
Craziness is common, yeah, and fear is common. Everybody's afraid of something, and they stop living. Yeah, and only be in fear and whatever, and stay home, and it's, I mean, it's fine by me. Everybody can do as he wants, but don't force it on me.
It's ugly goblins. They like to rule everything. It's oh, I'm horrified. Yeah.
Okay. We leave it there. You pack your stuff for the Netherlands. Say hello to Morgan.
A nice talk. Was a nice talk.
Was nice.
I hope we don't bored our viewers with writing stuff and conspiracies, but
I think for many people it's interesting how somebody writes a book. I mean, at least for me, it's interesting.
Maybe we can go through this more systematically, step by step, how to, because I really think if you could write a book, because you can do it, but just the structure is missing. The plan.
And I don't know about what I should write.
About women.
Oh, then it will be
Lord of the Rings.
It will be a very, very short book.
Witchmaster, the Beastmaster. A Beastmaster.
Like the other one said, women are like an open book to me, written in a foreign language.
I think once you understand, you can understand them because they are similar. So
you think once you understand one, you know them more?
Yeah, I think so. But the difficult thing is to understand the first one.
Exactly, and that takes a lifetime, and then you have it, but then you die. And then,
85, you say, no,
exactly.
I understand.
Now I understand it, but I know I have no chance anymore to prove it. Yeah.
I don't need them anymore. I understand them, but I don't need them.
Exactly.
And that's the point.
Yeah.
If you would know with 18 years that you don't need them, then you would handle them in a different way.
Appropriately, exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, yeah, everything has its pros and cons,
like Vico von Bülow, Loriot said, I don't know it in English, he said in German, auch Frauen haben ihr Gutes.
Women have something nice, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
A lot.
I'm a big fan of Loriot.
Yeah, he was
a real master.
He had a really good humor, yeah, of course.
Yeah, and he knew how the Germans are. No?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Where was he from? From Hamburg? Or?
I don't know. I think something like
this area. Yeah. Okay. So was nice talking.
Thank you very much for watching, guys.
Thank you.
And if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments.
Subscribe and send us new stuff and
hit the bell button and
get vaccinated and tested and castrated and S-fucked as you like. Do everything. We don't care.
But you didn't even drink a beer today, huh?
Oh, I drank whiskey.
Oh, yes, whiskey.
Look. Nice. These are beautiful glasses. I got to my birthday from my girlfriend. I
Oh,
love these
nice.
glasses.
Oh.
Yeah, very nice.
And which whiskey do you drink?
Johnny Walker.
Johnny Walker, not the Loch Lomond.
No.
Why? Does it?
Because I don't have a source at the moment for Loch Lomond.
Mm. It's the one the Bowman is drinking in the book. That's why.
Yeah, and it's also a kind of reference to Tintin, to Tim and Struppi, because Captain Haddock drinks Loch Lomond.
Okay.
But I really drank it, but it's a kind of Tim and Struppi reference.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. Okay, then enjoy your whiskey. Have a nice evening. You all guys have a nice time. Do whatever you like. Have fun. Stay safe. See you next time.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.